Welcome to Fearless and Focused. I'm Brooke.
And I'm Casey.
And we're here to share bold stories, real talk,
and strategies to help you push past fear and level up.
Let's get fearless and focused.
Hello and welcome, everyone. Today we have the most amazing guest, my friend Christina Lecuyer. She is a total badass. And let me just tell you a little bit about her. So she is a former pro golfer, TV host, and now sought after confidence and success coach. She's voted top confidence coach by Globe News Wire. She works with people worldwide, entrepreneurs, business owners, stay-at-home moms, and she uses her decision, faith, and action framework to help her clients build successful, fulfilling lives. And she believes that creating a career and life you're passionate for starts with one powerful choice, and that is deciding it is your turn. Oh my God. Christina, I'm so happy to have you here. Welcome.
Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much for asking me. I appreciate it so much.
Yes, we're so excited, and I can't wait to meet you and learn with you. This is the first time of connecting, so I can't wait to hear your message and just get to know you a little bit better. So let's dive in. Brooke, what do you got first?
Yeah. Okay, so we know you're a former pro golfer. You're a transplant from Canada to good old Arkansas. And you were, living this whole different life. And now you are a successful, confident success coach for others. And that's like a huge pivot, right? That's a big transition. So I was just kind of like wanting you to talk us through that. How did you go from this world to jumping into a whole nother world and being so successful at it? Tell us, tell us how that happened.
Well, it's a very long story. We don't have that much time, but I always kind of share this kind of fun little story. And it's kind of, most people laugh in the beginning. I always say two things happened to me when I turned 18. I got pretty good looking and I got good at golf all at the same time. And some people chuckle at that. They're kind of hilarious, whatever. But what happened really when that occurred when I was 18 was immediately I got instant validation. I got external, you're so great, you're so pretty, your life's going to be amazing, and all the things. And really that was a time when I really started caring about external validation. I loved the atta girl. I loved the, all of the things that came with being attractive and successful at golf and all the things. And so fast forward for the next probably close to 10 years, I was addicted to that external validation. I was addicted to getting, making more money, looking better, being better at golf, having all of this success. And I really did. Fast forward through my college career, I won 5 times in college. I got out of college and I immediately turned pro. I was on 3 television shows. And then I fast forward through that. I was hired by executives from all around the world to play golf with executives and business owners and all the things. I was getting paid $10,000 a day. I was doing modeling contracts. I was doing all of these things. And the truth be told is externally, my life looked amazing. It really was. There was a lot of good parts about it, but internally I was not okay. I was basing my worth and my value off of what I did, how I looked, and how much money I was making. And I got to a point when I was about 27 years old where I was like, oh my God, am I allowed to cuss on this podcast?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay, good. I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm miserable. I have the life that everyone said was going to make me happy, and I'm really not happy. I was actually miserable at 27 years old. I had an eating disorder. I did not like my life, and it was really a turning point where I decided, I'm going to lose everything and perhaps my life, or I've got to figure out how to be happy, and I've got to figure out how to do it quickly. And from that moment on, I really just decided that I was going to figure out what actual happiness was. And I never knew anything about self-development. I didn't know the power of the mind. I didn't know any of these things. I had just been hustling my whole life, and it had gotten me to a certain spot. But really, when I started to figure out that you have the power to decide it's your turn, you have the power to change your whole entire life, to change your career, it comes from your mindset. It comes from your beliefs. And fast forward for the next 15, 16, 17 years, whatever it's been, I became addicted to that. I became addicted to figuring out how to be happy, how to make money, and how to do it on my own terms. And along the way, people were starting to come to me like, how are you so successful? How are you so happy? And I was already, I was already addicted to it. Like I was already full-fledged, like I drank the Kool-Aid. And I had hired coaches. I have had a ton of great mentors. I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in myself because I truly just realize that this is the key to everything. And like I said, along the way, a lot of people started to come to me for how I was able to do it, how I was able to succeed, how I'm actually truly probably one of the happiest people that people know, and it's just, I really pride myself on that. And so that's really how my career came about. Was I transitioned out of the golf career about 5 to 7 years ago, really full time in 2020 when, the world exploded. I lost, $200,000 or $300,000 worth of clients all in like a moment when the world shut down in 2020, just like so many people did. And don't get me wrong, I was like, wanted to cry at the time when it happened. But then I really just understood that, okay, how am I going to deal with this? Everyone is dealing with this. What am I going to do? And that's really when I went full into my coaching business, and I replaced that income plus some in just a few months. And I do believe it was just a decision that I made that I was going to go all in. And I think, I'm a big faith person. So I think it was like a kind of a God moment for me to be able to do that. So that's a very summed up version of how I went from golf to this.
Wow,
Yeah, no,
that
that's
is
amazing.
equal
And
power.
one
Yeah,
thing,
a powerful story. Go ahead,
sorry,
Brett.
go ahead, Casey. I don't know if it was lagging or what.
Well, I
You're
was just saying
blurry, but that's okay.
that's such a powerful story. And I would love to know. I know that you work with clients from, high-powered business executives to stay-at-home moms. What do you see as like the common challenge between, with what people face, um, with really wanting to go after what they want and being confident?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a few things. I mean, it really kind of depends. I definitely work with, everyone from, I work both with men and women. I work with people who are, have their own careers to stay-at-home moms, like I said. A lot of my clients, I'd say probably about 75% of my clients do have some sort of business or are an entrepreneur of some kind. But I will say, I think the main few things, if I could, just kind of pull them off the top of my head. Number one, I think clarity is really big. I think people are sometimes unsure of really what they want. I think indecision is a real thing. I think a lot of people stay on the fence because they're unsure of like making a decision. A lot of people have a hard time making a decision because people live in fear of making the wrong decision. I have a belief that has served me and my clients really well, and that is there's no wrong decision, and indecision is still a decision. And for me personally, one of the things that I believe is time is the most valuable asset on the planet. And when we sit in indecision, we're wasting that. And if you make a decision, it's just feedback or information on how to make the next decision. So that's the first thing that I would say. I say the second thing, and this is definitely among a lot of women for sure. Guys have guys have different sets of issues, but women for sure, one of the things that I see oftentimes is they're so afraid of what other people are going to think. They are afraid about, the wrong decision for their children, their spouses, their families. Most people say that they really care about what everyone else thinks. But when you really boil it down, it's probably, the 5, 10 closest people to you that you actually really care about. And one of the things that this isn't really marketable for sales, but really what I help people do is change stories, patterns, and habits that are keeping them stuck and that ultimately are not getting them what they want. And in order to get something different, we have to do something different. And I will say to you that most women in particular have these stories, patterns, and habits from perhaps the closest ones to them, their parents, a loved one, maybe it was a coach, maybe it was a mentor when you were a kid, but you believe something to be true. And a lot of people were really stuck in that. And my job ultimately is to help them get through that in order to get a different result. So those are probably the top two things: worrying about what other people, probably the people closest to you. And then also too, just the unsure of what you actually want and afraid to make a decision in the fear of making the wrong decision.
Right. So I wrote down 2 things you said that, like, really hit me. Like the indecision, and it sounds like to me like you're that person, because sometimes, I mean, like, especially if you're an entrepreneur, like, that's a lonely road, and, like, sometimes you just need someone to bounce the ideas off of and like, "Am I crazy? Or is this okay?" Like, I need someone sometime that's just like, "Brooke, you know what you're doing, like, pull the fucking trigger." Like, yes, like, sometimes you just need that person in your corner. So, like, hearing you say that, it kinda seems like, yes, you're that person for those people that don't have someone. The
Yeah.
other thing is, growth guilt. I know I have struggled with that, personally, because, like, when you decide that you're going to level up and make a difference, you're kind of on a playing field with, like, your family and friends, and then you decide you're gonna grow, and then there's a gap, and then you're like, "But I'm up here and I feel, weird, and do I make myself small?" Like, hell no, but that's been a struggle for me, and I don't know if that's a struggle for your clients or not. If that's something you run into with people feeling guilty of, like, I'm growing, but I kind of feel like I'm leaving others behind, and how do I get past that and not feel guilty about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first one that you said about like needing that person. So I only do one-on-one coaching. It's definitely what the industry tells you shouldn't do, but it's just my biggest passion in life. And I just love my clients so much. I take a maximum of 30 clients a year.
Oh,
And
wow.
so, I stay very full and I'm very blessed, but for me, I always call it like my full-time clients who work with me, I call it like relationship coaching because we do business, we do life, we do all the things in between. And my clients, my full-time clients have 24/7 access to me. And oftentimes my job is to never have a client that like quote unquote needs me. It's that they want me in order to learn how to trust themselves to make decisions faster. And I
Mm,
think that having that one person, like you said, who is external, my job is not to tell a person what to do, it's to help them really learn how to trust themselves to move faster in the decision that they want. So I completely agree with you that most people do not have that. And people always say, like, find a close friend or family or whatever. Oftentimes, just like you said, Brooke, those are the people who want you to be okay. They want you to be happy. They want you to be safe. And those are not the people oftentimes that are going to get you to that next level. So I think that that's the first thing to remember. And the second thing that you said about being a lonely spot, 150%. The reason why my retreats sell out is because most women, because I only do women's retreats, but most women do not have other women who understand what it is like to want to be or are at that next level. And it is true, you are the sum of those that you hang around with. And if you want to get to the next level, one of the best things that I would tell your audience, if you feel like, gosh, I want to be there, do yourself a solid and be there before you think you're supposed to be there. Because most women, I will tell you, the number one fear most women have of coming to like one of my retreats or something like that is that they're not there yet. They're not ready yet. They won't fit in. They're not high enough. And that's all a lie. And even if it was true, get yourself in that room and I guarantee you will get to the top faster. I'll share a quick story with you. So I started playing golf when I was 18 years old, which is extremely late in life. But I got so good so fast. And I don't mean this like cocky, but when I was 18 years old, I took up golf. When I was 19, I broke 80 or 190 and 80 in the same summer. The next summer, I was offered a college scholarship and I ended up being an All-American 5-time winner in college. How I did that was I played with the pros on Friday afternoons, Saturdays, and Sundays in Edmonton. These guys had been playing for 50 years. They're all good players. I had cash because I worked in the bar industry. So it was like $100 buy-in, $200 games, and things like that. I started out really shitty. One summer, I got very good. Why? Because I was playing with people who were much better than me. At that time, I didn't even know that that was a thing. Nowadays, I try to play with people who are way up here. I'm very blessed. I have an amazing source of connection from my corporate golf career. I'm playing golf, once or twice a week with people whose net worth is close to $1 billion. I have people in my corner that have, bought and sold companies for 9 figures. I always want to be around those people because those people, I take what I want, right? I learn from them. And I would highly encourage any woman who's listening to this podcast, if you don't think you're ready, go get in those rooms, be around those people, pay to play. I'm a big proponent. I always said, years ago, I pay for my friends because I want to be in rooms where, high achievers are.
That is such good. Like, I have goosebumps. I was literally just feeling this yesterday, and I love that you brought it up, Brooke. And it almost is just having this conversation together gives you some permission to be like, it's okay to feel that way. It's okay to go after big things, and you're not the only one feeling that. So, thank you for sharing that. That's so good. I'd love to kind of pivot a little bit into. I was listening to a podcast where you are a guest on, and you were talking about consistency. And Brooke and I, especially when we're working with agents, it's all about being consistent and showing up online and, doing that consistently. And I think that a lot of times people jump in and they're excited and they go all in and they show up and they do all the things and then they just kind of slack off. So talk to us a little bit about what's your advice on staying consistent and being consistent and why that's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say, I really actually don't think I'm very good at anything. I think the thing that I'm the best at, to be honest with you, is I'm more consistent than most people. I will do things that most people won't do. And I think, honestly, if you really think about it, the people who are the most successful are the people who are doing things behind the scenes that you'll never see. You never see that I wake up at 4:30 every single solitary day. You never see that I've walked consistently. Like I probably have missed 20 days in 4 years. You'll never see that there was 4 years that I posted on my Instagram story every single solitary day, never missed a day. It's just those little things that most people don't want to do. They are always looking for like, well, how did you do it? How did you do it? It's like, I'll be honest, like my husband's very successful as well. I'm around a lot of successful people and it is just the monotonous things. There's literally not that massive amount of like secrets. I literally don't have any secrets. I'm more consistent than most people. I'm willing to do things that most people aren't willing to do. I put myself out there and I'm sure, Brick lives in Arkansas. I don't know how, we know each other a little bit, but I guarantee you there's probably 50 women in a 100-mile radius that cannot stand me, that literally think what I do on the internet is a sham or a joke or whatever. But I'm willing to do it no matter what. Like my why for what I get to do is so much greater than what some woman has to say about me. And I think that you have to have that strong why. You have to have something that keeps you going. Motivation is bullshit. I am not motivated. I am 100% not motivated. I do something because that's just who I am. Like, it's just so ingrained into me that I do the small things most times. I'm not perfect. No one is. I have bad days. I am a human being doing a human thing. But most of the time, 90% of the time, I'm doing the shit that no one else wants to do. I don't want to post every day. Trust me. I don't want to go to the gym. My God, I would rather do shit all, but I just do it because I know the highest version of myself. I know where I want to go. And I know that that's what it takes. Like, I just think that sometimes people just think that there's secrets or whatever it is. Like, yes, you can fast track a lot of things. I pay people to do a lot of stuff in my life that I don't want to do. But in the beginning, you have to say no to a lot of shit and you have to be willing to do the shit that no one wants to do.
Right. I know. Like, there's no shortcuts at all. Like, someone, like, where's the goal to there's not. It's a bunch of freaking work. And like you talked about consistency, like, my husband is a creature of habit. Like, I could be like, oh, it's 10 o'clock. He's at the gym or whatever. I mean, I wish that I am way too ADHD. I'm way too all over the place. Like Casey can tell you, like, I'm just, I'm a mile a minute. But one thing I am, like you said, being motivated is, like you said, shit. Because some days I'm really freaking motivated, and other days I'm like, half-ass is what you're getting from me, and that's the best that I have. But I am disciplined. And I think that is a difference maker, and especially like in our industry, and just like you have to be disciplined, whether you feel motivated or not. You have to show up every day, whether that's good or bad, right? And no matter what that looks like. You said something else about like, those things that, you're motivated. So like, what keeps you personally motivated? Like, what inspires you to like show up every day for your clients? Like, what is the inspiration? What do you get out of it most?
That's a great question. It's like such a sappy answer because I was asked this like on a podcast the other day because my girlfriend who she was basically she was having a really hard time. She's just a friend of mine, not a client. She was actually in the online space. She doesn't like it. She got out of it. But anyway, we were having this conversation and I truly just believe it was like that 27, 20, 26 version of myself where I literally was like on the brink of ending my life. Like I never tried it, but like I was that miserable. Like it makes me emotional just thinking about it. Like that version of me was so fucking unhappy with my life. And now I literally swear to God, I have one of the greatest lives ever because I just decided every day. And, and because I have that mindset that I have the greatest life ever, it's fucking wild, all the awesome shit that comes to me. It's wild how good my life is. But I think that that's what kind of keeps me going is because I work with people. Not everyone who works with me is like so broken by any means. A lot of people just want to get to that next level. And like that I love. But there is a few people that were like me that like literally do not know that it is up to you. Like your life is up to you. And like I'm sure I piss so many people off when I'm like, money's not that hard to make. Life is so fucking good. Like all of these things. But it's just like I believe it so much that like no matter what's happening, I always tell a story. I'm like, if I miss a flight, it's the best thing ever because something awesome must be happening. And if I make a flight, I'm like, of course I make a flight. Why wouldn't I make a flight? Like I just have that mentality in my life just because that version of me that was like so miserable, I know what it's like to be miserable. And like, I will never be there again, period, end of story. And I think that that keeps me going. And the fact that I literally get paid amazing money to help other people do the same, like, stop. How fucking lucky am I? Like, I literally believe that. And I know it sounds so wild, but it's like the absolute truth. I'm like, I hit the fucking lottery. I've worked my ass off for it, but I've hit the lottery.
Wow. I mean, totally inspired just by your words and just by really, looking at yourself and just stepping into your own power and realizing that you're the only one that's going to make it happen. At the end of the day, like you're it. Like this is it. Take it or leave it. This is kind of it. So our podcast, Christina, is all about being fearless and going after everything that you want in life and making that decision to do that. So we would love to know, what does fearless mean to you?
That's a great question. Fearless, I don't know if it's like this, like, I don't know if it's this, like, you're being a boss, like a badass or whatever it is. Sometimes fearless is like waking up. For certain people, fearless is like literally doing the smallest things in the hardest of times. And then other times it's, doing this crazy shit that you're just like, everyone else thinks you're like wild and crazy and like it'll never work and all the things. I just think like literally being fearless is just showing up every single day and trying to be the best version of yourself. I do want to point out, because this is a big part of my life, is like, yes, it's about, like, I say that I make my decisions and I show up every day, but I'm a big person of faith. Like I could not have had this life without having my faith because I didn't grow up with faith. I had, like, when I was like, had my breakdown, I was like, all right, hands up. I gotta have something else. So I do want to point that out because I don't want it to be all about self, but it is a combination of the two for me. I will say, like, being fearless sometimes is doing the smallest of things, keep showing up. I mean, there's a lot of people that are going through really hard times, and there are a lot of people that just can barely do the smallest of things. So you just have to decide what fearless is to you and create your life and your career around that. And sometimes it's so big, and sometimes it is like the tiniest of things that is fearless to me. And I don't feel like I even can say what that is. I think you ultimately know what that is. I think oftentimes people are always like, did you do the best that you could? Some days the best that you could is like barely just doing one thing. And then other days it's, checking 97 things off your list. So I think it's all relative. For me, like being fearless is just continuing to show up every single day and try to be the best version of me that I can that day.
I love that. I love that. You talk about, I hear you say, be authentic, be yourself. And I think that that is amazing. And I try to live by that. And I don't know if it's because I've gotten older and I just don't care as much what people freaking think. I'm like, I'm too tired to care what you think. I got my own shit. But I really think, being authentic, and finding your tribe, you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, right?
No.
We're not going to please everybody. So you're like, there's half of these people that, can't stand me, but the other half think you're a total rock star. Like I'm hands down one of those people, and just love how you live your life and that you are full show up. If you don't like it, I don't really care. I'm living my life. It's my journey, not yours. But if you like it and you want on board, get on board. Like, and you gave me chill bumps. Your story is amazing. And I know that everyone listening is like, yes, I love her too. And how do I find her? And tell me all the ways I can follow her. So tell us a little bit about that, where we can find you, where we can follow you. I know you have your podcast and you're online everywhere. So tell our listeners, where they can find Christina.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the easiest place to find me is on my social media. It's Be Christina. So years ago, I had the social media handle Golf Christina, and I will tell you that was kind of like the same time frame, the 26, 27-year-old time frame, because making a transition, and a lot of guys are really into, like, this is a really hard thing for guys. A lot of women too, especially career women who have always been like known for something. Your worth and your value is tied to like what you do. Guys in particular, huge. That's a huge issue with a lot of my guy clients, and just guys in general, just tying their worth to like what they do and how much money they make. But for me, like, I used to be Golf Christina online, and like literally changing that was like one of the hardest things ever. It's turned out to be one of the best things ever. So at the time when I was making that transition, probably 9 years ago, my social media handle now is Be Christina. And the reason for that is because I want everyone to be themselves. Be Brooke, be Casey, be Christina, because that's who God created you to be. And your job is to be that so authentically. And I think the more that you can do that, the better your life will be, because there is a purpose and a reason for each one of us. And some of us, it's, doing these things or doing what y'all are doing. And some people, it's just the smallest of things, but it's just so, like, it's so important. It's just as important as, being Elon, whatever. But Be Christina is where I hang out, mostly on Instagram. My team does a little bit of LinkedIn and stuff like that. That's a huge tip for anyone starting out. Pick one, get really good at one. There's 350 million people in the United States of America. Depending on your business model, you only need a couple of them. So pick one. It's just so much easier that way. But I'm on Instagram at Be Christina. I have my Decide It's Your Turn podcast for anyone who wants to decide it's their turn in life. And my text message community, if you just want to get in that, it's 501-222-3362. It is 100% me. And I send, motivational stuff about once a week, because I don't like spam. So I'm sure as shit not going to spam anyone else.
I'm signing up
Well,
for that, though. I would
yes,
love to get your 10 tips.
absolutely. And we'll make sure that we put all of that information in the show notes too, so people can follow and sign up and get inspired by you. I'm totally inspired by you. I just thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your story and giving us some tips and just adding value to our podcast. So thank you so much for showing up for us today.
Thank you guys so much for having me, and congratulations. It's like awesome. We need more women doing all sorts of things. And I love, it seems like y'all took some fast action, which I am here for. Take that fast action. Just do the friggin' thing. You're going to figure it out along the way.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. Fake it till you make it, right?
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much. So much. It's been such a pleasure, Christina.
Thanks, ladies.
Thanks for tuning in to Fearless and Focused. Remember, success is not about being perfect. It's about showing up, staying bold, and taking action.
If you love this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who could use a little inspiration.
Keep chasing your dreams, staying fearless, and keeping your focus strong.
Until the next time, stay
Fearless and focused.